Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the second race of the round of 8, and most crucially of all, this is the wild card race of the playoffs and of this round. It is a super speedway where we have had a lot of rough luck at in the past, as we've got the Next Level Racing branding on our number 8 Junior Motorsports Cadillac this weekend. I haven't said it in a while, but if you guys didn't know, you can actually go onto Next Level Racing's website through my link in the description. You get a 5% discount using the code GOIN5 on their products. If you're in the USA, that is. Now as, qualifying got off to a bit of a bad start. I actually put myself in the outside wall on the exit of turn 2, and as we head down into 3 and 4, realizing, of course, now that this race is like a super speedway, no matter what, we're going to be qualifying in the back. So as we exit turn 4, just accepting our fate at this point now as we head down the front straightaway and to the line, and sure enough, it is dead last year, only by 3/10 actually off of Parker Retzlaff there in the number 94 for GMS Racing. But we'll look through the rest of your qualifying order, of course, see some playoff drivers that are around us. This is the race where we just have to survive and hang on to as many points as we can, because we come in with a comfortable point buffer, but a lot of that could be eliminated today, especially after a rough Darlington. Reddick on pole, and my teammate of Hocevar joining him on the front row. Now getting ready for the Amazon Prime Series action this weekend. First of all, on Saturday, Brandon Jones picked up the win over Jake Finch and Ryan Truex. Daniel Suarez there as well inside the top 10. And you see the rest of the order scrolling through as we get ready to set our focus and sights on Atlanta Motor Speedway here Sunday afternoon in this Junior Motorsports number 8 Next Level Racing Cadillac. And like I said, we've had some rough luck ever since they switched this over to a super speedway. Things haven't quite gone my way, but I am hopeful that we can put together a good effort here today. Ryan Blaney in the number 23, watch out for him, still winless on the season. He has gone further than any of the winless drivers in the playoffs. I mean, he has a chance, if he performs today, to still have a chance to go into the Final Four. But as it stands right now, the Final Four consists of Kyle Larson and then all 3 Junior Motorsports cars of myself, Connor Zilish, as well as Carson Hocevar. But this is a wild card race. It doesn't come down to skill, it comes down to timing and a bit of luck. So we're going to see the points shuffle up a lot today, for better or for worse, as the green flag is out and we take on the middle race of the round of 8 here. Tyler Reddick, Carson Hocevar lead the field to green. Down into turn number 1, we've got Christopher Bell and Zane Smith lined up behind us there. It's a good launch for the outside lane here into turn number 1. William Byron was actually 3 wide up the inside for the lead into turn 1. Byron had a rough Darlington already setting him behind coming into this race. Now William Byron, it's been a unique scenario in the playoffs for him, where he has been below the cut line every round, but he's found a way to get himself into the next round. And obviously in the round of 12, his way into the round of 8 was by winning. Can he find a way to victory lane here today in Atlanta? If not, and if he still comes out of today below the cut line, I would not rule him out going into the round of 8 finale to determine the round of 4. Now as we continue to try and now start moving our way forward, we've jumped down to the inside now. With the way the AI work here with the Super Speedway mod, your really only path forward is to get this car hooked up on the bottom. Now there is a little bit of a challenge that comes with that, and that's the fact that with the way this mod works, it makes your car oddly weird but tight at the same time. So the car is going to slide around a little bit, but on the exit of the corners it plows. So that's something I've always had to deal with, and that's why it actually makes the inside lane sometimes a little bit tricky, because you might plow on the exit of the corner and therefore you give up the inside lane to somebody else going down the straightaway into the next corner, and then you're already stuck up in the middle or the top or whatever it might be. So you got to be a little bit aware of that now as we come to lap 5 of 20, and actually making a bit of a mistake. Got into the back of the 99 Trackhouse Honda of Chandler Smith, and that shot me to the inside, so we give up a good 2-3 spots right there into turn number 3. We'll try to rally back and gain here now as we come to lap 7 and we're up to P34. Shane Van Gisbergen actually driving the number 66 this weekend as we push this 2 of Todd Gilliland off into turn number 3. Ryan Blaney currently out in front. We were just talking about Ryan Blaney winless, the only winless driver still in the playoffs, of course. Now Ryan Blaney's had a solid season. Of course, he pointed his way into the playoffs, and he just hasn't quite found victory lane, and what a time it would be for him to do that, because it would propel him into the Final Four to have a chance at a championship. He is one of those kind of sleeper picks that's been really consistent throughout these playoffs. He's not had a lot of playoff points to bank on. That tells you how good of a season he has had, or how good of a playoff run he has had, when he's not really had a lot of playoff points to use, but he's been still able to consistently get his way through into the round. Similar for the 24 of William Byron. As now we come towards halfway point, though, in stage 1, Chase Briscoe now out in front. We've worked our way into the top 30. You see now smoke up ahead into turn number 3, though. Caution's out. It's the 24. The 24 of William Byron, tire down. And more catastrophically, I can confirm the 24 is done. William Byron DNF in stage 1. That's going to force him into a must-win situation next episode if he wants to make the Final Four. A big shot in the heart to the 24 team as everybody pits for tires and fuel. We gain a couple of positions, but William Byron, he's done it twice already, being below the cut line to get in, but now he's going to have to win next episode. I don't really know if that's going to happen. I can't see it happening personally, but never say never as we get back underway, and we actually hit the back of the 20 of Bell. Of course, you see the playoff tags on drivers like Bell and Caruth. Maybe if you're new to the series because you're coming in from the NASCAR 25 hype, do not pay attention to those playoff banners. We do a custom playoff format in this series instead of the traditional playoff format. We do 12 races. That allows the Final Four to have 3 races instead of a 1-race winner take all. So we do the playoffs manually, meaning the cutoffs are at different points. Therefore, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Rajah Caruth, names like those guys, they're not even in the playoffs currently, although they might be in the game because there's a completely different playoff timeline in the game. Nonetheless, Kyle Larson there going through for 30th. He's not having a great start to this race. He has been the man of the playoffs that has been dominant, and he continues that here into Atlanta. But obviously, Superspeedways has been just a rough, of course, type of racetrack for Kyle Larson. So this is going to be, if Larson's going to be vulnerable at any point in the playoffs, it's today. If Kyle Larson can come out of today with simply a top 15, that's a success for the 5 team, because they'll be going into the round of 8 finale in very good shape, probably 40, 50, 60 points even, depending on what happens around them. So they could lock themselves in on points here today very well. So as we head off into turn number 1, and at this point Alex Bowman is currently leading this race as we approach the final lap, and we are once again trying to get ourselves back into the top 30. Not been a good first stage, but I'm not panicking. It all depends on who's picking up stage points, and just from here I can see there's barely any playoff presence inside the top 10. Maybe Ryan Blaney's the only one, but to the final lap down the back straightaway into turn number 3, Gio Ruggiero for Tricon Garage leading the way through 3 and 4 over Corey Heim and Alex Bowman as well. As we exit turn 4, we're going to be in the top 30, setting us up a little bit better for stage 2. Ruggiero takes stage number 1, caution flies, and Ryan Blaney, I think, is the only playoff driver in the top 10. Yes, Ryan Blaney P8, 3 points. Now, the only driver in the top 10 for the playoffs, and that's still not great for us because he is below the cut line, so that of course damages our gap a little bit. Nonetheless, we are going to pit for tires and fuel, and Jesse Love, another playoff contender, actually loses 13 positions here in that number 81 Samsara Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing as we get ready to go green for the second stage here. Now green flag is back out. Stage 2 underway as we line up behind the 20 of Christopher Bell. Now crossing the stripe, 32 laps of racing in this stage, so a very different vibe, 12 extra laps than stage 1. Pit stop necessary, unlike that first and opening stage, be that under green or under caution. Ty Gibbs right there in the middle, your Brickyard 400 winner earlier this season. Hocevar as well going backwards on this restart. He kind of got hung out 3 wide. Gibbs getting quite aggressive here. Ty Gibbs, another one that's been really sneaky in these playoffs. He won the Brickyard and then he's just been quietly consistent. Do not rule him out. Now, of course, Ty Gibbs, your season 3 champion, still feels like he has a chip on his shoulder. We look at the past 3 seasons. When he won the championship, of course, it was all the controversy that he did not deserve the championship. He was the worst running Final Four driver basically the entire race, and then was able to luck out on strategy when the front runners of the Final Four had to pit late in the race. Gibbs was able to stay out and hang on to a championship, And then, of course, we go into a season later, NASCAR changes the format, and Gibbs misses the Final Four by only one single point to his teammate of Christopher Bell, who would eventually go on to win the championship. And then last season, Ty Gibbs, a complete fall from grace. He completely missed the playoffs last season due to just being victim of all the different winners in the series. And now this season, he's kind of come back, and he's been in the mix. He hasn't won to the same level he did in season 3 when he went on that championship run, where he had, I think, 3 or 4 wins. He's only at 1, but I mean, he is quietly here in the picture in the round of 8, looking to prove everybody wrong and say, hey, I can win a championship and deserve that championship now, and he is trying to do that this season. And now here we are, though, breaking into the top 20 now, passing the number 3 of Austin Hill. Chris Buescher currently out in front, but of course, I mean, the leaders are always swapping back and forth. The lead is changing like crazy with this type of race. Kyle Larson's up there in the top 10 as well, having a good run right now. Ryan Blaney right here in front of us in P16 in that Xfinity Mobile number 23. We look to the inside of him. He's finally starting to go in the wrong direction, as we, on the other hand, are going in the right direction. There's Ty Gibbs still up towards almost in the top 10 now, but the 3 of Hill is actually able to get to my inside. Hold on, we got green flag pit stops kicking off. Here we go. Gibbs is coming in. The leader of Bell now is coming in. I believe the 3 is going to pit. Yes, he is. And several drivers coming into the pit. So here we go. Green flag pit stops kicking off here from Atlanta. Now we have to get ready. We still have 6 laps of fuel, so I was a bit surprised to see drivers come in that early. But we could come in. Now hold on. The 00 of Purdy. Tire down into turn 1. He was actually right on my right side when that happened. Caution is out, and all those guys in the pit lane now can stay out, and they will be rewarded heavily to the front of the pack. We're going to pit from P10 for 4 tires and fuel, and we're going to be relegated down to probably, I don't know, 20th or so, maybe even worse than that. So we'll wait and see what happens, but we'll pit for those tires and fuel and just see where we end up shaking out. Yeah, it's actually exactly in P20, so we give up 10 spots here for the restart. Now Ty Gibbs has gained a big advantage. However, you look at the lap count. I mean, we're barely halfway through stage 2. We've still got plenty of racing. Now, fortunately, with 15 to go, it means that we can make it to the end of the stage, so we're not going to have to worry about any more pit sequences here in stage number 2. As Chris Buescher, a bit of a check up there in the middle now, will kind of fall in line behind the Castrol Edge Ford Mustang for RFK. And as we head down this back straightaway, you see the likes of Blaney and Bowman going forward as I kind of chop the nose on the 12 of Zane Smith. Not really my intentions, but it does allow me to get down to the inside, so it helps myself more than anything. Now as Gibbs continues to lead through 3 and off of turn 4 now, as he's another driver below the cut line, by the way, just like Ryan Blaney, who picked up those stage points in stage 1, a driver below the cut line that needed them. Gibbs is another driver that needs those stage points. Obviously, William Byron needs them as well, but he is no longer in the race. Jesse Love is another one to watch out for. He had a super strong car in Darlington, but they played their cards completely wrong on strategy in that race and just didn't quite get the finish they were deserving of, and that could be the difference maker on if the 81 team can make the Final Four or not. We have such a stacked Final 8 drivers in this playoffs. I would not be surprised really at any names other than Kyle Larson if they were to miss the Final Four versus make the Final Four, but Larson has been so strong, and he is going to be very difficult to beat in that Final Four. But I mean, keep in mind, Kyle Larson's made the Final Four several times in this career mode. He's only won once. He's got 2 career championships. The last time he made the Final Four, it was a complete disaster. After a dominant season, he ended up finishing the worst of the Final Four drivers across the 3 races. So never say never. You can be the best all season long, but you get to that Final Four and it's a completely different scenario. Cautions out down the back straightaway. Actually, it was for a tire failure in the background. Some drivers are pitting. We're going to stay out, and we've got Heim coming in as well. I think that was Priest, and you see as well Taylor Gray. We're going to stay out, of course. We're looking to try and earn some stage points, and the reason for caution was actually the 15, I believe that was actually Gray, sorry, that was Taylor Gray that brought out the caution with the tire down in the 55, as we'll get ready to go back. Green flag racing here, less than 10 laps to go in the second stage here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, lined up behind the Ally Financial Joe Gibbs driver of Alex Bowman. Check up on the inside lane, not what you want to see somebody out there, Austin Hill, that was kind of out of line. Not sure if that's what kind of sparked that to happen, but nonetheless it completely kills our momentum, and we give up a huge gap to the cars in front, and we drop down to 18th, maybe 19th, with the 51 of Justin Haley rolling by. and we continue to kind of trickle down the order on this opening lap of the restart, but we kind of settle in here now to about 18th, 19th position. Kyle Larson's ripping the top, Blaney in the middle. There's Connor Zilish as well, just in front of the 23. Haven't really talked about Zilish here this weekend so far, but he is having a pretty solid run, at least here in stage number 2. Zilish, similar situation to me really in points, and just the fact that he's just got to get out of today with a solid result like the top 10, and he'll be in pretty good shape. I mean, that's kind of our goal, top 10, even if we don't score stage points, which unfortunately found myself plowing on the exit of turn 2, and that left me vulnerable to the 17 and the 34 who got to my inside. So now we've dropped to 19th again, and I got sideways after a bit of contact with the Delaware Life Honda number 28 there for Andretti Global, Bubba Wallace now, and we are able to save it, but we give up track position behind the 9 of Chase Elliott, and now the 15 of Ruggiero as we'll get in line behind the number 15 Tricon Garage Toyota there, and give him a shot to the back bumper, push him forward to the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott with 2 laps to go in the stage. We've gotten back comfortable here on the inside, but still obviously not where we want to be, and it's once again going to come down to what playoff drivers is scoring points. Caution's going to come out. The 31 of Brent Cruz loses a tire into turn 3. That ends stage number 2 a lap early, and we actually, first of all, we are going to pit for 4 tires and fuel, but we only had 1 playoff driver again in the points, and again, it was Ty Gibbs in P9, so 2 points to Gibbs. So we once again do lose a little bit, but overall, yeah, I mean, it could have been way worse. We could have had 3-4 playoff guys out there scoring points, and it's just not happening today. We've got a lot of non-playoff presence in the top 10 as we kick off the 3rd and final stage. 34 laps to go in this race. A bit of a shot to the back of the 15, and right now it's looking like we're not going to have a playoff driver win this race, and that's a good thing for us. We don't want a guy, say, below the cut line like Ryan Blaney or Jesse Love or Ty Gibbs winning this race, as we have an absolutely horrific restart there as Larson and Hocevar both are able to cruise by on the outside, and we drop back down to P27. It has not been the race that we wanted, and we have always, like I said earlier in the video, we've always struggled with this racetrack, and we knew this was not going to be an easy task. Fortunately, so far, things have really gone in our favor with the lack of playoff drivers outscoring us on points. But now here in Stage 3, we know this is a time where we have to step up, we need to perform, and we need to get ourselves up towards the top 10 by the end of this race. At the bare minimum, top 15. A top 15 would probably still hurt us, and it's not been a pretty playoffs. I mean, we've had more finishes outside the top 10 than we've had finishes inside the top 10, and I think today's going to be another one of those at the current pace that I'm setting here now, as we are approaching just 30 laps to go in this race. We're 3 wide on the inside of Chase Purdy. Last time we were alongside him, he blew a right front tire and went into the outside wall. We've got his teammate of Chandler Smith 3 wide to our outside as well here. So Trackhouse have got 3, just about 66 of that team right there, 66% of that team to my outside now as we exit turn 4. Eventually Purdy would get in front of me by the time we came through into turn 1 on lap 63. And right now we got Nick Sanchez actually out in front of this race as I got tight on the exit of turn 2. Shane Van Gisbergen actually was able to briefly get up my inside, but we got enough of a pull from that 00. We'll stay clear into turn 3 on the inside at least now, as we've still got Bubba Wallace to my outside through 3 and off of turn 4. But now, once again, we're slowly but surely just kind of trickling our way back into the conversation. It's super slow. We got 27 laps to go. We're capable of gaining a spot or 2 per lap, but obviously it's such a back and forth accordion type race right here, and we just have to stay committed to just trying to pick off 1 to 2 spots every lap or 2, and we're eventually going to make our way into that top 10. Jesse Love now out in front. Jesse Love would love if this was the final lap of this race, because he'd punch his ticket into the final 4, but obviously we've still got 25 laps to go at this point. Now Ty Gibbs dropping outside the top 15. Things we like to see right there. Kyle Larson to the lead here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the number 5 HendrickCars.com Cadillac to the front here from Atlanta in the closing laps now. But you don't want to be up front right now, because if you're up front right now, you know you're probably going to cycle back and you might not have enough time to get back up front. So anyone that I see up front in this exact moment, I pretty well write off as a threat to win this race. So Larson, Jesse Love, I think my teammate Connor Zilish as well is up there in the top 3. I see him actually ripping the wall right now, so he's going to really lose some momentum as we're lined up with Christian Eckes. But we've broken into the top 20, and the 12 has broken his car. car into the outside wall. Zane Smith crashes tire down, multiple cars involved, caution out, and we're gonna pit for what should be the final time. It's actually gonna be super close on fuel. We're gonna pit for 4 tires and fuel, and we actually might still be short once we get back going here. Lining up behind the 48 of Rajah Caruth. The green flag is out. Zane Smith has crashed. Does that mean Orion Priest crashes on the way? Stay tuned as we go back green. It's 19 laps of racing remaining in this race. So I think fuel is going to be really, really tight. I think we've got 18 laps of fuel. I thought I pulled it up here, but it looks like I didn't. I know I pulled it up at some point, but as we exit turn 2, heading down this back straightaway, these restarts really have not treated us well because, you know, they kind of stack up in front of you, and then if you tap their back bumper, it like brings you to a halt and you lose all momentum. And I mean, I've fallen victim to that like 3 or 4 times, it feels like, here in this race. Now less than 20 laps to go here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. We at least are in the top 20, 18 to go. There you see 17 laps of fuel, so we're a lap short. Fortunately, we're at a super speedway style race. There's so much draft that we should be able to actually make it if this stays green, because I think we will save enough fuel in the draft here before this race is over. So if a caution comes out though, I do expect to see the field pit, and at that point, if everyone pits, I'll probably pit too, just to make sure we're safe for potential overtime situations. But I'm probably going to do something where maybe it can shuffle us up towards the front of the pack, because I feel like track position for us would be everything late in this race. Now, great racing, 4 wide racing. Van Gisbergen there briefly took it forward with the 28, the 16, and I believe that was a 6 on the outside, as that was a good little moment of some racecraft right there from everybody involved. Connor Zilish now out in front on lap 75. Blaney's up there, as well as Jesse Love. Jesse Love actually goes back to the lead. I've got Ty Gibbs with 14 to go just behind me, heading off into turn number 1. We know Gibbs, of course, wants to get up front here before this race is over. As we head off into turn 3, Gibbs actually forces the door open. He runs into our left rear. We slide, we save it, but Ty Gibbs saying, I gotta go, and I gotta go now if I want to make this final 4 today here in Atlanta. He is immediately saying, I'm coming through. We have not had, of course, a fully clean playoffs against Ty Gibbs. We've had a run-in previously with the 54 of him just racing us super hard. Now he drives into our left rear, says, get out of my way. I mean, I came down on him, but I was already well committed to the apex before he had lunged it off in there. So I mean, you could kind of take that or leave it for however you feel about that, but I am now watching the 54 with 10 laps to go drive towards the front. We're seeing playoff presence, drivers below the final 4 in the mix. Gibbs, Blaney, as well as Love, all inside the top 10, so the pressure is amping up, and now I am breaking into the top 10 for maybe the first time ever at this racetrack since it's gone to a super speedway. So this is already a big success, but the caution is out, and it's a tire down on the 48 of Rajah Caruth, and this is going to bring everybody into the pits. We've got 8 laps to go. We've got 8 laps of fuel. We are going to pit for a splash of fuel, but I think, yes, we are going to take the lead with half a can of fuel because the AI have elected to, I believe, take tires. They probably took right side tires. I know for a fact they took 1 can of fuel, and all of a sudden, we have put ourselves into the lead of this race with 4 laps to go, a chance to make life easy and win our way into the final 4. It would be our first win, and feels like quite a while at this point now as we roll through 1 and off of turn 2, and we've got Sanchez just behind, and we want to control this race. We know we don't have a race winning car, that's obvious, but you give me the clean air, you give me the track position, you give me control of this race, I might be able to hang on for 4 laps here as we roll through 3 and off of turn 4, and Sanchez is going to roll up on us here on the exit of turn 2. Now a lap later, lap 89. Here comes the 54 Gibbs. I got to protect the inside at all costs. If we give up the inside, we're going to go backwards no matter what. So it's an awkward scenario where I have to try and cover both lanes at all costs here now as we exit turn 4. Look at the run from the 54. We can't even cover it. Ty Gibbs into the conversation as the 54 heads off into turn 1. We'll be dead even into the corner. He's got Briscoe behind. Alex Bowman in the rear view mirror back there in the middle lane trying to move his way forward. 2 laps to go off of turn 2. We continue to lead down this back straightaway. Sanchez has a run. We cover it, but as we cover that, Gibbs comes back to the outside as we barrel it off into 3 and 4 for the final timers. Not to the final time, coming to the white flag. Sorry, now as Gibbs is ripping the wall, and look at the momentum from the Monster Energy Camry. Clear. Gibbs to the lead with 1 lap to go with help from the 98 RFK Ford Mustang of Chase Briscoe. If we can at least hang on to a top 5, we're going to be putting ourselves in a really good scenario going into the next race for the finale of the the round of 8, 3 wide behind us as we exit turn number 2, right on the door of the 98 of Briscoe. Sanchez is going to get up my inside. Gibbs is running away into turn number 3. Is he going to win his way into the final 4? The 26 loses a tire on her inside. We slam into the outside wall. The caution is going to fly as we drop down to 14th, and Ty Gibbs is going to win in Atlanta. Hello, final 4. Hello, second shot at a second cup title. Ty Gibbs wins here from Atlanta under caution, and we go from 3rd or 4th to 14th in a matter of a couple of seconds. But fortunately, as we look down the order, one of the positives is a lot of playoff drivers did not beat us, and that means for the playoff grid, even after that catastrophic ending, we did give up points because of Ty Gibbs winning. But now, we still have a 17-point buffer over Ryan Blaney. Connor Zilish at 16 points above the cut line. So if we have a new winner, if Ryan Blaney, Jesse Love, Carson Hocevar, who had a horrible day, finds himself 38 points below the cut line, Byron 87 out. If any of those drivers win, myself and Connor Zilish are now fighting for 1 point against each other to be the final driver into the final 4. So we are not safe by any means. Kyle Larson has a 40-point advantage. He's the only one that's relatively safe unless he has a miserable day and there's a new winner, and next thing you know, we're beating him too. So it's gonna come down to the wire, and it's not gonna be easy, but I'm hoping as long as there's no new winner, we'll be okay. So I'll see you guys in the next one where we determine who makes the final 4. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a great day.